Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Mr. CineMayo's Movie Chat. I'm here with Tom Hunyadi. And I'm
Hello.
here with Tim Allen.
Hey.
And I'm here with some people in the comments already. And I really regret this because this happens every time with certain people you can't help. Like 50 Thunderer says, I may have to watch the replay. Sorry, it'll be 1:30 a.m. here right now. It is. Over there, and I've got to get up for work at 5 a.m. I don't know what to do. I mean, we could do earlier shows, but then there are people that are working, in other places, so it's tough. Oh, there's a good rant video I did over at my other channel, me and Mr. Mayo, and a breakfast with Mikey Arugula and Anthony.
The phone one was better. Only because I get what you're saying, though, too. Because there's so many times where at the gas station, at the grocery store, or whatever, you see somebody get in the car and they don't leave. They just stay there and they look at their phone for a half freaking
hour. And
know?
sometimes you're waiting to take that spot.
Yeah.
And even when they know you're there, they don't give a damn. They just keep playing on their phone or looking at their phone.
It's not even just that. You ever been in line at like a restaurant or a fast food joint or something, and the people ahead of you are on the phone and they've got like 4 kids with them, and now they're up in line and they're still on the phone and they haven't discussed with their kids or anything yet what anybody wants, and you're just sitting there excuse me, you've been in line 20 minutes and you haven't,
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I tell you, everybody could benefit from doing rant videos on their channel. Everybody, that's what I like about them. And hopefully a lot of people can relate to the rant subjects. That's the idea. Chauncey Phillips, Mr. CineMayo stands for good, clean fun.
No. Not so clean and not so good.
Yeah. Fun.
Fun, okay.
Hello, Beetle Eddie.
Hello, Beetle
Eddie. Hey,
Hello, Douglas. I'm tired because I got up really early, but other than that, doing good, I guess.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Now, the first time I saw this message, I said I was tired, right? I thought this was somebody else. Then I realized because it had Sly. I got a little mixed up here. It said, hello, Matthew Smith. It says, sad news on Sly Stone. At first, I thought, looking at it at a glance, it was Sly Stallone. And I thought, what? So.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Matt's confused. This is the movie chat, Matt, not the music chat.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, you would think.
Well,
and
Stone must be in some movie.
Sly Stone passed. Getting stuck behind idiots at a convenience store, buying lottery tickets. Yeah, all these things.
Yeah, the old guy with his hand in his pocket, reaching for all that change.
Yeah, that's me. That's me now. I've become that guy. It's amazing.
That don't count, Matt. Don't count.
Sly Stone was in movies Woodstock and the Hulu documentary.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to go first today because I got a lot of movies to show that I picked up, and some of you may have already seen this stuff in my regular video pickup series. Some not, but I'm not, stupid enough to think that everybody watches every one of my videos because not necessarily. One thing here, let's get this going. Tom, did you see I won the trivia quiz with Andy yesterday?
Did. Congratulations, Beetle Eddie.
Congratulations.
Welcome to the Discord family.
Well, to start with, I got a lot of things to show. I'm going to try to go through them quickly, and I'm going to put the big screen up for them. All right. I don't think I showed this last time, or did I? This is the Woody Allen collection. A series of movies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies.
Yeah, I almost bought that in the past.
Yep. Well, get a load of this. If you still want it, I don't know if I'm wrong about this, but check out on Amazon, it was $38. Because I spent $50 for this used and thought it was a good deal. But Bullets Over Broadway, never seen it. Mighty Aphrodite, seen it. Everyone Says I Love You, seen it. I'm going to talk about it. Celebrity, not seen it.
Yeah, that's with Leo.
Oh, Small Time Crook, seen it. Curse of the Jade Scorpion, seen it.
That's one of my least favorites.
Yeah, not a great one. Hollywood Ending, I do like. A lot of people don't. I've seen it.
You know,
I've seen anything else. That's not a favorite of mine. Anything
no,
else?
those last three I don't think are anything to write home to mom about.
Yeah. So now let's go pretty quick with this stuff. This is a Blu-ray upgrade. I'm spending a lot of time at my movie store, used movie store, The Sixth Sense, Sharky's Machine. Haven't seen this since
Yeah,
1981
I enjoy that one.
at the theater. Rachel Ward is the first time I ever heard of her, which was pretty
I
hot.
saw it at a drive-in.
Drive-in, Sharky at the drive-in.
Yep.
A favorite of Tim's, I'm sure. No, the Devil's Rejects, which is I consider a great horror movie. It's a modern Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Devil's Rejects. Rob Zombie. The only thing Rob Zombie did that I liked a lot. Everything else I've seen by him, I don't like. This one's for Tom. Insomnia, the Pacino version, and Robin Williams.
I own both versions, so.
Which I also like the foreign version. I remember renting that too. I like them both. This one was a surprise. I don't know if again, Tom, I don't know if you've seen these in my videos or anything.
Yep.
But this one was, you talk about it for $5 last time. Yeah, we did talk about this maybe.
I'm glad you picked it up because I talked about that movie about Maria Schneider last week, which was like a bio on her, and a lot, a good chunk of the movie is about her working on that film with Brando.
Did I show any of these last time?
No, not that bad. You didn't show. I mean, not that one.
Rain Man upgrade. That I got. This one a complete blind buy because everybody's seen it. Some like it, some don't like it. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to hear your take the first time you see it. It did take me a couple of watches to appreciate it, but
you won't get more than one for me, probably.
Yeah. Well,
I don't have much reason to do it.
I guess I'll have to watch it again though. It's not a fan.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, if anything, you're a fan of boobs, so you'll be all right.
But you don't know when I'll get to it. It could be a years.
Right.
It could be something I like to put on right away. Who knows? Finally got Cool Hand Luke. Some of these I'm thinking, there could have been better releases since this time. Some of these earlier, maybe they're earlier releases, but
that's one of the first Blu-rays I ever bought. Was Cool Hand.
Oh yeah, good. Now we got Manhattan, another Woody Allen movie. I have a whole slew of Woody Allen movies coming. Whatever ones I could find on Blu-ray, pretty much I ordered. So finally got this Fatal Attraction. Yeah. When I saw this in the movies in 1987, I remember one of those times at the theater where it was a great suspense time. It was like a real and great experience at the theater at the time. Much as I love 70s sci-fi, this one never grabbed me. But again, when I see these things for $5 or less or something, $3 or something, I'm like, all right, give it another shot. Logan's
it never grabbed you, but you grabbed it. So somebody's grabbing something.
Yeah, I definitely grabbed it. This
That's
came
Farrah Fawcett, right?
What? Yes, you got
to. Yeah.
Well, small role. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I've been waiting for that arrived finally. The Shout Factory edition of Death Wish 2, special edition, 2 versions, theatrical, which is totally needless, and unrated, which is the only way to go for this one. It's really, a priest or something. You want to see the unrated version. I started watching that 2 nights in a row, fell asleep like 20 minutes into it because I put it on at like 11 o'clock after I was up since 5 in the morning. So I'll try it again. Now this one here took a chance on Rocky, the heavyweight collection. There's 6 movies here: Rocky 2, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, and Rocky Balboa. They don't have Creed in here, which I've never seen, but
yeah, that's a whole nother series.
if I decide that I ever want to see that, which I might, I will go ahead and get it separate. This is a Charlton Heston movie with Maximilian Schell in it that I never seen. It's also got Leslie Nielsen in it. It's called Counterpoint, and I just have never even seen it. I knew about it, heard of it, but to see it on a Blu-ray, I figured, okay.
Right.
This is one that I showed in my store. This was real cheap. I think it was under $5. Night Patrol. This is airplane type stupid humor from this is 1984. It's got Linda Blair in it. Who else? The Unknown Comic, and other people too. But anyway, it's complete stupidity. I saw it in the movies. What's happening here now with me is what used to happen in the early days of my vinyl channel when I started vinyl collecting. It's like buy all this stuff, and stuck with a lot of it. But let's see how this goes. This is a movie I like that I've seen, of course, and because Heston's in it, but also it's a good movie. Burl Ives, Gregory Peck, The Big Country.
Well, it's just a good movie in general. So
good movie, yeah. So yeah. I mean,
because it is a big country, Joe.
Hell yeah. What's left of it anyway? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I've been wanting to get this on Blu-ray. Now I don't know if this is the best edition. This looks like the really early 2000.
No, it's good. It's a good edition.
All right,
it's a good release.
Because I was looking at my DVD, and I think the DVD had a feature or two that's not on here for extras. You want to kind of, that's a movie I like that I'd like to have all the extras I can, if that, classic, that I want. Finally, this is the last thing for this particular show for me that I picked up for $2. Season 2 of 2.5 Men. That's right. I have every season out except for one. So I got. Well, when I say every season, stop. I do not follow this once Charlie Sheen left. Let's leave it at that. So the ones with Charlie Sheen in it. So
now, when you say every season except for one, does that mean season 1, or does that
season
mean
one? Season 1 I need.
Okay.
Somewhere I found three. I don't know if it's 3 to 8, whatever the Charlie Sheen seasons were. Somebody went into my record store once they were all sealed, and I got them really cheap. The other ones, so I'm buying these number 2 used, and also if I could find number 1 used, I'll do that as well. So that's it for me. Exit that. Now let's see if there are any comments. Trying to remember. Everyone says I love you. Saw it but can't remember it. It isn't. Is it the musical? Yes, it's the musical. Bullets on Broadway. I've never seen. I heard good things about it. Mighty Aphrodite say are good. Half of it's good to me. I like the whole first half up to the point where the whole thing is Woody looking to see who his adopted son's biological mom is, and finds out Sorvino. What's the name? Is it more? I don't want to say that.
Yeah,
Mira Sorvino, and
Academy Award winner Mira Sorvino.
Doesn't deserve it. I'll get to that review eventually too. I looked at my old review from way back when. But anyway, and I think she's fun and ditzy for a little while, and then from there the movie. Once he finds who she is, I'm not interested in the rest of the movie. But anyway, that's a long opinion. I never got Woody Allen. No, that's okay. My girlfriend doesn't get him either. We're going to talk about that. By the way, Matthew Smith, watch my review. I did a review on my movie channel about Everyone Says I Love You. So maybe it'll come back to you. What's Colonel March of Scotland Yard? Anybody?
No idea.
When I hear The Veil, all I think of is there was a Boris Karloff TV series called The Veil. I don't know if that's what you mean.
Yeah. I don't know if they're on Blu-ray.
Hey, James.
Hello, James. Hello. What is the Crowns thing? What is that about? Hello, Kimba. She likes Logan's Run. Jenny, I'll tell you, Agatha from Logan's Run was hot. I think I'll take Farrow over her. Out of those, that movie.
Yeah, that's pretty tough right there.
Isn't Fatal Attraction a remake of Plain Misty for me? I don't know. Isn't that
Clint wasn't married in that movie though, was he?
I don't know if he's not married.
I mean, Michael Douglas is married in Fatal Attraction, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Hello, Mike. What's going on? Becoming Led Zeppelin is coming to Blu-ray this month. I almost saw it.
Yeah, I'll have to get that. That was great.
What's your favorite Tommy Lee Jones movies? Geez, you got me on that one. He's in. Oh man, I have to look up the list.
No Country for Old Men.
Yes, that's overrated. Best Picture, My Eye. There must have been nothing else out. Man.
Whatever.
Wow. I remember seeing that year. I'm like, you kidding? After it won.
It's cliche, but I like him in The Fugitive.
Yeah, The Fugitive. I saw that.
It's very cliche, but
he was good in that. I don't know why I'm confusing him in my mind with Harvey Keitel for some reason.
And he's great as the warden in the Natural Born Killers too. I think kind of over the top, but I think it works for that movie.
Okay, Colonel March, British TV series starring Boris Karloff. Death Wish 2 will be pretty rough going for some people. It is. There's a home invasion. That's the right term. The home invasion sequence, which is really brutal. And the director, Michael Winner, went really extremely, definitely too far during it. But it is what it is. And that was his vision, is the unrated version. And it's pretty.
So so tell me then. Two, I mean, the wife gets it in the first one, right? That's why he's on the Death Wish, right?
Well, the wife in the first Death Wish, the wife is killed, and his daughter is violated and becomes catatonic.
Okay, but who's the victim in the second one?
In the second one, the maid that gets violated. And so does his poor daughter, who's finally getting well after these years, and still kind of not as catatonic as she was, but she's still can't speak. The poor thing ends up getting hit again and doesn't make it. And you gotta. What's the reason for this guy to be so angry? There's got to be the reason. I mean, and rightly so. Damn right, I didn't yet. No. Army movies take the back burner,
and plus it's 3 hours long too.
Oh man, Lonesome Dove, best Tommy Lee Jones. So anyway, and again, when we talk the things I just talked about with Death Wish 2 and everything, it's a pity that you have to go through this shtick every time you do a show or you have a channel. But the thing is, they don't condone that. I'm against it, but that's why the reason why you could side with Charles Bronson,
right? Because
how heinous and unspeakable it is. That's why he gets his motivation.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with like the movie Straw Dogs with Dustin Hoffman,
right?
And Susanna York, I think it was. I mean, same kind of thing, and unfortunately, sometimes they do go far with, with the violation part of, or as Conan would say, the lamentation of the women. But it can be rough, and I think it's supposed to be rough. I mean, you're supposed to, feel not good watching this stuff because it's not good,
Yeah.
So.
And Charles Bronson, that poor man in the movie's character, Paul Kersey's the most unlucky man. The poor thing. Don't ever get engaged to him or married to him. Whatever you do, that character.
Yeah. So who gets to the third one then? No, I was kidding.
You never saw the movies, I take it.
Just the first one. Just the first one.
Well, then I take it that in the third one, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a neighborhood. It's just a violent neighborhood, and a friend of his, I think he's trying to help out. I don't think, and then I think the fourth one also. I think the crackdown. I think he like gets hired, maybe to work for them or something. I think those 2, 3, and 4 skip over any personal stuff, but I could be wrong. I haven't seen him in a while. But the fifth one, then it's right back to his latest fiance again. You know. Oh yeah, there's a motivation in 5. Oh yeah, Leslie Ann Down. Yeah. Yeah, I remember the movie Savage Streets with Linda Blair. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I know of it.
Yeah, there is a Blu-ray of it, and I own it.
Oh, you're asking me? I'm sorry, I didn't read the question. Yeah. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, there is. I just don't recall the company that put it out because it's in storage right now. But yeah, there is.
No, and the war-themed films never appealed to me unless it's Buck Privates with Abbott and Costello, or something like, or in the Navy or something like that. Yeah, I saw 10 to Midnight a long time ago. It was a time in the 1990s. I went through all the Charles Bronson, the 10 to Midnight, Kinjite, Murphy's Law, all this stuff. Hello, Crude. You know, I don't. What does one have to do? Are you talking about me? I'm not interested in war. It's not because of it's violent or anything. I'm just not interested in the war. I'm not interested in the army, the navy. It doesn't interest me. Nothing to do with the content or the severity of what happens to anything.
Joe's not a history guy. I am, so I like war movies.
Yeah, I'm not much of a history guy. There you go.
And I like especially the World War II movies make me feel very patriotic, and I like that.
Don't try to catch me in a straw man contradiction, buddy. I don't know where to go from it because I got like things I've seen. You guys, I want to like rotate this around. Well, first of all, Tim, you didn't pick up anything.
I didn't pick up anything, so you can skip me on that part.
And you, Tom, picked up a couple of things.
I picked up a couple things, yeah. I love my Criterion. They did have this movie before. They released it back in the DVD days. They lost the licensing for it, but they got it back. And this is a handmade related film. They distributed the film. They put money into it, and it's called With Nil and I from 1987.
I'm sorry, I highlighted the wrong person.
That's okay.
I've seen that.
Yeah, this is fantastic. This is just some great dialogue, a great, good friendship kind of, if you want to call them friends. But I really enjoy this. This really, strong British humor in it, and it's fun. So check this out. It's called With Noel and I from 1987. And then, and then Joe was talking about Woody Allen earlier, and I picked up Play It Again Sam. Yeah, from Kino Lorber. And it's great because it's got a commentary track on there, which I haven't listened to. And there's one filmography that I would love to be commentary tracks on, it would be Woody Allen films. As you know, his films, whenever they're released, are always bare-boned films. So for a studio or a distributor, to release a Woody Allen film with a commentary is okay in my book.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but we know he didn't direct this one. I think this is Woody Allen and Diane Keaton's first film together.
That's my favorite. It might be one of my very favorite top 3 or something. Woody Allen movies. Not that he directed it, but with him in it. Yeah. And to me, I like it better than Annie Hall. Just the way it is.
Great line in this movie where he's trying to pick up this woman in a museum, and he goes, "What are you doing Saturday?" Yeah, what are you doing Saturday night? And she goes, "I'm going to commit suicide." And he goes, "What are you doing Friday night?"
Yeah.
But great comedy all around. Woody Allen, early on in his career couldn't do any wrong in my opinion. But I just love his character. Throughout. That whole run of, the Woody Allen character, kind of like in a way the Charlie Chaplin character,
Yeah.
So.
Always a lot. Well, I'm going to talk about that a lot later. Yeah. Let's see. Let me get a few more. I like the Bronson movies with Jill.
Oh yeah, Zex, right?
That's his woman.
Yeah.
Jaws 50th anniversary up in a few days. I saw it opening night. My parents, me, and maybe 12 people in the theater. A week later, we're lying around the building. What memories? I got nothing but fantastic, pleasant, happy childhood memories. I was 13 of seeing Jaws. I saw it many times when for first run. Then they brought it back in the later 70s, saw it again. And then I've even seen it, in the last most recent times they brought it back to some theaters I've been to see it. I will always see Jaws in the theater. Every chance I get, I will always go. Like I say, that movie to me made for the big screen. Where Eagles Dare, see those kind of movies. Yeah. But I'm gonna have to get better. I got to see Midway. Midway. I got to see that. Now I want to. Before we get moving here, I want to highlight this viewer of my channel. I cannot read this because, as far as I know, right here there's no translation option. But he has been responding to a lot of my videos, and I can translate. I'll be honest. Usually, what I do is, if I don't understand the language, I delete it because I don't know what they're saying, and maybe it's not something that I don't want to be shown. But I know this person's been a very good viewer and been really, trustworthy and everything, and cool. So there's no problem. I wish there was some way if you could write it in English at all, and you understand my English. So
Plus he's got a Chucky behind him there.
It's Japanese.
In this picture.
He's got a what?
He's got a Chucky behind him in this picture.
Oh,
his profile.
Okay.
You didn't see Chucky?
I didn't notice it. Do I collect steel books? No, I don't collect steel books. Not as a rule, and I'm glad I don't, because they're quite expensive, and that's another rabbit hole, as we call it. I don't want to go down. How about you, Tom? Do you collect steel books?
I have a few, but I mean, if a movie that I want is coming out and it's first coming out on a steelbook, I'm going to get it. Okay, I mean, it might be released eventually in the regular format, but if it's first coming out in a steelbook, then yeah, I'm going to pick it up.
Well, I do have some. I know I have Wizard of Oz in a steelbook. I have Scarface, the Pacino movie, in a steelbook. There are a few others I can't think right now, but that's not because it just worked out that way. I was at the store and there they were. I mean, not that I said, "Oh, I'm going to pick up the steelbook."
Joe, I translated that if you want to hear what he said.
Okay.
He said, "Hello, everyone. Charles Bronson's Paul Carge series is interesting."
You were able to do that? How'd you translate that?
I just copied it and went to Google Translate.
Oh, okay.
Simple.
There's no translate here.
So that's what he said. And hello, Adian. Adian is his name. Hello, Adian. Yeah.
Very nice.
Look at that technology.
Woody did the screenplay for Play It Again.
Yeah, it's from his play. I mean, it was a play at first.
And by the way, I know the title and all that about Bogart and all that,
right?
But I could do without the Bogart stuff. I mean, I mean, it's fine, but I don't need that when the Bogart talks to, hey, kiss her, go ahead, kiss her. It's like, I tell you, my girlfriend cannot stand that Woody Allen stuff, that nebbish stuff, and we're gonna get into that as soon as I talk about Woody Allen. All right, Konnichiwa. And that gentleman calls me Mayo-san a lot. So there you go. Anyway,
say sayonara later on.
Oh, I won't remember. Oh boy. All right. So, how about things we've seen, Tim? Why don't you start us off with movies and things you've seen?
Things we've seen today.
Okay. Well, these aren't the order I watched them, but I wanted to start with this because this may be my favorite version of this film, believe it or not. It's the Hammer version of Phantom of the Opera. And I think they tell the story better than any of the other versions I've seen.
Well, the stories are. I don't mind that version, but what I personally don't like about it is he's a sap. He's a real like wimp, kind of. But other than that,
well, I
I
don't
do
know if
like
he's
it.
a wimp.
Yeah.
He's cruel to the woman quite, badly.
Mm,
Um,
all right.
but anyway, I enjoyed this. I didn't think I would, and I did.
Oh,
So
glad.
Herbert Lom.
At the end, doesn't he sacrifice himself or something at the end? I saw him at the end or something.
I
Something
can't.
falls on him.
Yeah, I
Like a
think
chandelier or
he
something.
does die, but I can't remember how already. I watched too many movies to remember every one. I just do. And I watched some new movies, newer, believe it or
Wow.
not, because I get tired of people slagging me that I don't like any
That's
new
all right. You don't
movies.
have.
And it's not that I like them, but this was for what they probably spent on it and for how long it took them to film. This was interesting anyway. Miss Meadows with the Mrs. Tom
Ex Mrs.
Cruise.
Cruz. Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Katie
like her.
Holmes,
Yeah.
Miss Meadows. I'm not sure I always think of her exactly the way that she's supposed to be in this. This is how I think of her, but yeah, I'm not sure she pulled it off that well. But
She's a cutie pie.
but I've seen it pulled off better, that sort of character that she plays. But still,
She pulled something
it's
off.
good. She doesn't she's had it rough, so she's not quite all there, and she takes things into her own hands quite frequently. That's the
Yeah.
story.
Sounds like a familiar idea as
That,
always.
that's the story. She doesn't take crap from anybody.
Okay.
But it's an interesting. And I said I know
That's
the
why
budget
we
must
do.
be low. They filmed this thing in 17 days. 17 days is all they've got in this film, and for 17 days, it's pretty good. So I liked it, but more than I thought I would. I liked it. Now, I watched the cartoon.
Animated film.
Well, I consider it an animated film.
Oh, was it a CGI? Oh, very well. I was making a joke before I even saw what it was. There you go.
This is an animated film. I'm sorry. When it got to the credits of the special effects, I've never seen so many names in my life. They filled the screen from one side to the other, and it went on in like a solid block for over a minute. I'm like, are you kidding me? Just
Now, watch the credits for a Marvel movie, and
wait a minute. I got to blow this up. I forgot to blow it up. Let me see the. But what is that? Godzilla King of the Monsters. What's the other thing?
It's Spanish or something. It's but this is what you get when you get an idea. This is basically, in my opinion, Destroy All Monsters. You just got all the monsters in it again. But so if you do that, you don't need a story. You don't need anything but special effects and all the monsters.
You don't need actors either, right?
You got a movie.
Unless you're watching the '60s movie, you have guys in suits acting.
Yeah, not great. The story was just stupid, and anytime a 15 or 16-year-old girl is the one that comes to the rescue is never a good. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It's not.
You're going to be the new. By the way, your job on these is going to be to translate this gentleman's comments.
Okay, well I'll get there. I'll get there in a minute once I'm through here. And I watched this, and I can't believe it took me this long because I actually like this movie quite a lot. Mitty.
Oh yeah.
That is a Walter Mitty.
Yeah. It's a remake of Walter Mitty, sort of, with Ben Stiller, and I really like this movie. This is everything that special effects and things in a modern movie should do. It's the opposite of Godzilla. I enjoyed this movie a lot. I thought it was really good. And Stiller, I'm not a huge Stiller fan, but I thought he was good in there.
And the fourth one's coming.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to see that, even though De Niro's in it.
Oh, poor guy. I feel bad
Just a
for
good
you.
movie, highly recommended. And
By the way, wait a minute. Fun fact, there was I think the 1946 or 1947 version of The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Mhm.
There are stills that exist of Karloff and Frankenstein full makeup, because he only played the Frankenstein monster in 3 movies, but then he was going to do a send up of it as a comedy in this, but they never used it. And there's really cool pictures of him as the monster, Frankenstein monster.
Cool.
Okay. And last but not least, I watched the 15-part serial of Jungle Girl.
15 chapters.
15 chapters of Jungle Girl. And you know what? This was entertaining. I was fully entertained by this. I'm like, most times I don't love serials, but I thought, as cheesy as all serials are, but it was good. I mean, the woman was hot for 1942, and it was just good.
Are the run times all different, Tim, or how long? What's the run time on those?
The first one was about 25, 27 minutes, but the other ones were all around between 17 and 18 minutes.
Okay.
On all the rest of them,
I have quite a number of serials like I need to watch. The thing is, I always wonder if I should do the thing where I leave the cliffhanger and take the disc out and go back the next time I watch them and put them on, or watch them several chapters in a row.
I watched it over 2 days.
Yeah,
and
probably better these days. It's probably better if there was a way to if there was an easy way of synchronizing it with every time you watch a movie, fine, but take the disc in and out for a 15, 20 minute chapter. It's a bit much.
And then the end of this was interesting, because on the end of I wondered why there was 10 episodes on disc 1 and 5 episodes on disc 2. You're like, well, why didn't they even it out or whatever? But for special features on disc 2, they gave you an hour of trailers that were all trailers for so this is almost the highlight of the thing. All trailers for serials. An hour's worth of serial trailers, which was.
I hope you don't mean that kind of cereal, James. I hope you mean a cereal with an S. Otherwise,
yeah. But it was so. I enjoyed this. I have another one called Jungle Queen. I'll probably be watching soon, because I
got a bunch of those too. Oh yeah, a bunch, including what's the one that they say is one of the best ones, The Adventures of Captain Marvel. I have that one that's supposed to be one of the best serials, and I got a few Bela Lugosi ones and other things.
That's what I watched this week.
Okay. Tom, what did you watch?
What did I watch? Well, after last week, I told myself I was going to watch Three Musketeers and Four Musketeers, and I did. So Wednesday, I watched the Three Musketeers. Thursday, I watched the Four Musketeers. Now, I had never seen these movies. I've seen bits and pieces in the 80s. Wasn't really into it. But I tell you, Three Musketeers I thought was fantastic. Loved it. This is a fantastic cast. And then I watched the Four Musketeers. Wasn't as exciting as the first part. But it's funny, because once you get into the special features, you learn that this was all filmed at the same time, and it was supposed to be one movie. Then you learn in the special features that they stopped filming in September, and they wanted the movie out in December. And the editor was like, "You got to be, get out of here, piss off if you think I'm going to get done." So they ended up splitting it up in 2. Well, then once the crew, or once the actors found out that they were going to split up into 2, they were like, you can't do that without paying us more money. So, they got some lawyers involved, and and each actor got, a little bit more money and all that stuff. But I got to tell you, I love the restoration. The colors are very bright and vibrant. I thought Raquel Welch was beautiful in this movie, and obviously Faye Dunaway is gorgeous as well. But the Four Musketeers themselves, and it's really Michael York's film in a way, the first one, because it's showing, it's his story and how he becomes a musketeer, him falling in love with Raquel Welch. And then it's Charlton Heston and kind of like he's kind of like the bad guy in the film. The same with Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee's fantastic as well because he's always getting the best of Michael York. And then finally at the end of part 2, the Four Musketeers, Michael York finally is on the right side. But it's just a great fun adventure film. I highly recommend it, Joe. I hope you get this during the Criterion half off.
I have the DVD of both of them. I have never watched it.
Yeah, but this, like I said, this is a lot of fun. And I know there was a third one. They made a third one in '89 with some of the cast in there. But I tell you what, at the end of the Four Musketeers, they killed off 2 people that you would not expect them to kill off, and you're watching it and you're like, are they really doing this right now? Are they doing this? And they did, and it was kind of like, I can't believe they just did that. But it's a true adaptation of the book, because this was from a book. Richard Lester, who we all know is the director of the first 2 Beatle films. What's the smaller fat guy that was in A Hard Day's Night?
Roy Kinnear.
Yeah, he's in this too. Yeah, he's in this too. He's kind of like works for like Michael York in a way in this film, and he kind of like plays the comic relief in here. And Heston's role was a bigger role than what I was expecting. I thought this was just going to be a couple cameo scenes here and there, but no, he's got a really bigger role in here than what I was expecting. So really great swashbuckling adventure. The action is good. Oliver Reed is really good in this as well.
Is he sober in it?
Well, if you listen to everybody during the documentaries, they like to say that it's like every time that he's not filming, he was in the bar drinking. So, but yeah. And then I did go see the new Wes Anderson film, The Phoenician Scheme, in the theater last week. And after being disappointed, I thought with his last film, The Asteroid City, I was kind of hoping I would like this one a little bit better. And I just thought it was kind of like on the same par as his last film. He gets so many people, so many actors. He's almost like Woody Allen in a sense, where he gets all these great actors to appear in his film, and these aren't big budget films. So it's more on reputation than anything. Why he gets returning actors and big names like Tom Hanks, Benicio del Toro, and Scarlett Johansson in his films. But this was entertaining. It was funny in some spots. But it's Wes Anderson, and Wes Anderson only directs Wes Anderson films. He's not like Steven Spielberg, where he can direct a Western or a musical or a sci-fi adventure. Like Woody Allen directs Woody Allen films. Sometimes he'll go outside of his box a little bit with like everybody says I love you, but Wes Anderson directs Wes Anderson films.
It's funny. I was thinking everyone says I love you is so much of typical Woody Allen film,
right? But it's music. It's a musical.
Yeah, but it's something different.
Yeah, right. At least he's doing something a little different. Whereas Wes Anderson, you're going to get a Wes Anderson film no matter what. So if you're how the review goes, right, Tim? If you're a Wes Anderson film, you'll like this. If you're not a Wes Anderson film, you're not going to like this. So,
yeah.
But
what I like about him is almost any frame. You just pick a random frame from a Wes Anderson film. It could be a photograph that you'd put on your wall. That's what I like about him.
There's a great one. There's a great one. There's a great one, and I'll just spoil this in just one scene where, and to that point, Tim, Benicio del Toro's character, he dies in one particular scene, and Bill Murray is playing God. Okay, so, and to your point, that you could stop, freeze frame it, and put it in a frame, whatever, and put it on your wall. It's just a great shot, So
yeah.
But there's some moments like that in his movies, for sure. And the attention to detail in all of his movies are fantastic too. If it's not supposed to be there, it's not going to be there. There's a purpose for everything, in his films.
No.
So, but yeah, I don't know how familiar you are with Wes Anderson films, Joe.
No, I'd have to know the films. I think at this point,
like Rushmore and Grand Budapest Hotel, the Darjeeling Limited.
Don't keep making me look more ignorant because
and
I know what movies I
the one that cracks me up is the Fantastic Mr. Fox, because he did an animated film, and it's exactly like every other Wes Anderson film, but it's claymation. It's like, wait a minute, how did he do that?
So there's two of his films that I haven't seen yet. Isle of Dogs and The French Dispatch, and those are coming from Criterion in September. So I'm looking forward to those because I haven't seen those two yet. But like I said, his last two movies were, there are good parts in both of them, and some of them I didn't really care for. But all in all, see it if you like Wes Anderson.
Well, that's a recommendation.
Well, I've got translations if you want them.
All right, hold on a minute. I want to highlight it.
Okay, the first one just said, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, which is exactly what that movie was. So that was.
Well, wait a minute. There's a 1991 movie, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, however they pronounce it, because it's spelled differently in 1991 than it is in 1965. I don't know which one for sure you're referring to. Oh, there's the Chucky doll. Now I see it.
Well, that's because that's basically the two main.
But he's in it, obviously.
They get all the other monsters.
He's in. I could tell by when you showed the cover. Yeah.
And then the other comment was, "Jungle Girls are amazing. Tarzan is more famous in Japan." Well, yeah, he's more famous everywhere. That was the other comment.
James was saying before, I normally don't like remakes, but I don't think Death Wish with Bruce Willis and Vincent, is okay. I don't know really to make out of the way you're saying that. I normally don't like, but you think they're okay, but you think Death Wish is okay with Bruce Willis and Vincent?
He's saying he usually he doesn't like remakes. He's saying he doesn't like Death Wish, but he does like the True Grit remake with Jeff Bridges.
No, that part I haven't gotten to yet. It makes sense because he says I prefer True Grit with Jeff Bridges, but the other one doesn't make sense. I normally don't like remakes, but I don't think Death Wish with Bruce Willis and Vincent D'Onofrio is okay. I don't know. Maybe you don't like those. Is that what that means?
I don't know. He meant to do think. I think maybe he meant to write do think. That's just a guess. I don't know. I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Could you put that into words which even Caesar could understand?
No interest whatsoever in watching Bruce Willis's remake.
I got the gist, though, I guess, after all is said and done, right?
Yeah.
So I love Charles Bronson. Hi, everybody. Sean C. Phillips here. I can't talk as fast as he does it. All right. I went through some of these comments before. Big Top Pee Wee. I know he's.
I don't know if I like it. I've never seen it. I have no interest in seeing it. I don't. I never liked Pee Wee Herman. I just don't like the character.
Yeah.
He's good on an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. He's good on an episode.
Yeah, Ron is in a Akira Kurosawa film that Criterion released. I think they lost the licensing for it.
All right, I have some movies I want to talk about.
Yeah, let's get to the ritual. Come on, I want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, again, some of you, very few of you, may have seen the video I did on the new movie, brand new movie playing now called The Ritual. And I don't go to new movies very rarely. Is there anything I want to see? Well, the reason this is a film, another exorcism film, and I made up my mind. I'm done with exorcism films. Just some topics I'm finished with. And I don't want to see any more exorcism films, especially after seeing Exorcist Believer, which was a disgrace to it's supposed to be a sequel following the original Exorcist. It was a disgrace. What it did to Ellen Burstyn was unforgivable. She returned for it. Anyway, I'm not reviewing Exorcist Believer. That's on my channel if you want to see it. But I was done. I said I'm not going. But then I found out that Al Pacino was playing the priest or the elderly priest in this movie, The Ritual. So I figured, well, I like Al Pacino, and that's the only reason I would have seen it. I would never have gone to the theater if he wasn't in it. Also, in a smaller role, as one of the nuns, or should I say Mother Superior to be exact, is none other than Patricia Heaton, who plays the mom in Everybody Loves Raymond. And I always pick on her because through the whole series of Raymond, she has two acting modes. One of them is this. The other one's this. And sure enough, there's a scene in this movie, The Ritual, where she does that. As Mother Superior, I think that she doesn't know what to do with her arms when she's acting. That's what I think. But she, other than that, one moment, she actually was decent in it. But I went to see it for Pacino. Now, there's a story to this because before I went there, I heard, which I don't like to follow reviews, but I couldn't help it. Sometimes they're there. It was horrific reviews, terrible reviews. Rotten Tomatoes started out with a 0%. Then it got like a 8%.
5 last time I saw.
And then I looked up Internet Movie Database. Out of 500 things, it got like a 4 out of 10. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck, So I said, well, let me see it anyway. At least I have something to talk about here. So I go and I look and I find out that even though I live in a well-populated area and every movie makes an appearance somewhere at many theaters where I live, this movie was nowhere to be found. This is not playing anywhere near me. And I wasn't going to go into Manhattan or Connecticut or something like that to see it. Jersey. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Finally, I see it's playing in a theater, 40-minute drive, which I would never do that. But because, I'm retired, it was a Sunday anyway. This was Sunday, yesterday.
Just so you know, Joe, I could be seeing it right now at my local theater, but I chose to, be here with you guys tonight. Okay.
Oh wow, well, that wasn't a big sacrifice. But so now it gets better, so it's 40 minutes away and I don't mind. It's a Sunday and one of the shows is 10:30 a.m., which is ungodly to a lot of people. I'm an early bird. 10:30 would be perfect for this. I don't want anybody else in the theater, just me. But I start reading about the theater. And I see these horrendous reviews of the theater itself saying that it smells like urine. A lot of people, like 10 people saying this theater stinks. It smells like urine. They don't clean it. There's bugs. There was one theater in particular where there were insects on the back wall. The woman turned around. There were insects all over the wall. Popcorn candy left on the floor. And the bathrooms make you puke if you go in there. They're so disgusting. I'm like, am I going to go to this theater? Really? So luckily, as I was perusing a little more, I found there were new reviews. These reviews I mentioned were several years old. They were like 7 years ago. But then I read some fresh reviews from 2024 and 2025. And apparently they cleaned up their act. They renovated it and everything. So I said, let's see. So I go there, and it was so immaculate, this theater. It was so you could have eaten off those floors.
Well, it makes you wonder what kind of movies they were showing back in the
30s. Yeah. I was in some choice kind. That's what it sounded like. And I'm like, oh, so okay. I did the 40 minutes, 10:30 in the morning. I'm okay. Of course, I had to sit through a half hour of trailers. That's really annoying as hell. I was the only person in the theater. And what was weird about it is they had 12 theaters, I think, if not more. And mine was all the way at the end. When I get in there, there's 4 rows. Well, I got the seats in advance.
Yeah.
But you don't really know the feeling until you see it when you get in there. And there's 4 rows in this little theater. That's it. But
wow.
They were separated each by a walkway. Like there's 1 row walkway up higher, 2 row walkway. It was up high enough that it wasn't so bad, But the seats brand new. I've been in reclining leather seats before in theaters, but never in one like this that went back just for testing it. I could have lied down. It went flat, completely flat. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Great seat. I couldn't believe this. So I have to get that out of the way. All right. So I heard all horrible things about the movie. I had known going in that there was a handheld camera throughout, that it was going to be on stationary and movement, like the TV show The Office. I was going to go in like this on people and go out. And I'm like, oh man, that's going to be rough. But because I was braced for it, it didn't really disturb me too much. I kind of took it on its own terms. A lot of tight shots, very little like long shots. But that didn't bother me, mostly I think because I was prepared and it wasn't as bad as what I had feared. So what happened when I saw it is the performance by Al Pacino, which is what I was there for. The best I could say is it was understated. It wasn't like, usual. I knew it. I saw a review by a guy online that I thought he was going to go hoo-ah like that. Hoo-ah, the devil's got a great ass, stuff like that. And it turned out, it was understated, and he does an accent. Somebody said it was a German accent. I don't know what it was, but the priest he's playing was a real priest. This is an exorcism story based on something that really happened supposedly in 1928. It's him as the elderly priest who's really sold that they have to have God in on this. They got to have exorcism. And then you have the young priest. Who was it? Stevens? Dan Stevens? I forget his name. Do I have the notes still for that? No. But anyway, and I thought what I liked about it enough was the two of them, trying to settle their differences, and him trying to convince the younger priest that you need God, and the younger priest is like, well, how do we know this is not just a medical condition, kind of thing, because that story takes place in 1928. This happened to a woman, and my review goes into it a lot more. I came out of there, I knew it was going to suck, but I came out of there thinking it was average. I didn't think it was awful. And I didn't think it was good, but it was average. It's okay, I might, looking back on it, giving it 2.5 out of 4 stars. Might have been a little much. Maybe I'd go back if I was going to redo the video. I give it 2. But the thing is, I enjoyed seeing Pacino doing this horror film like this at this stage, and I never once thought I'm watching Al Pacino doing shtick. I felt like he was the character. So that was good enough for me. The exorcism stuff, if you've seen exorcism films, you've seen it 1 trillion times before. There's nothing different in there. And everything in this movie, if you're into exorcism and possession scenes, is far more tame than anything in The Exorcist. It wasn't even like anything to get you scared or jumping or anything.
Was there a lot of which was the person possessed? Was a lot of cortating her body, or
not much? There was stuff going on, but nothing you haven't seen before. Not a lot of it. It wasn't scary. I mean, I always say I've never gotten really scared by horror movies. I've always thought they were fun and cool and exciting, thrilling, but I never really got scared, except by the original Exorcist when I saw that in the theater. But it was more like I'd say I was scared, but it was more like the tension.
Right.
It was intense and suspense, and what's going to happen next, kind of thing. What was scared?
No split pea soup in this one.
A little bit of that, but very little. I mean, it's mostly, I think, a mind play between the two priests, which is what I liked about it.
I like that kind of concept. I mean, I'm still thinking of seeing this movie, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see. The only thing about it is my theater's only showing it like once a day.
Yeah.
So it just really just depends on what's going on in the day.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's The Ritual, and I got 2 other movies that I saw. Now, one of them I did a review on already. If you want to check it out, another review that I did. And it was the Woody Allen movie, Everyone Says I Love You. It's from 1986. And
96 or 86?
Oh, 96. I'm sorry. 1996. And I have to preface it as I did in my review. I have a memory of this movie. I had a friend in the 90s, in the mid 90s, who worked at a theater. He was a projectionist, and he used to let me go up. So I got to see what it was like up there in a multiplex with all the booths and the hallways and how he showed movies on a platter. They weren't on stand-up reels. They were flat, like on a flat platter, And I remember that was a new movie then that he was projecting, and I happened to see the end. And there was no sound because I was up in his booth and I was looking through the window down at the screen. And the end scene is this really beautiful sequence with Woody Allen and Goldie Hawn doing like a dance sequence on the, let me get this right, in Paris along the river Seine. And it just went, I just thought it was beautiful the way it looked. And she's like rising in the air. It was a little over the top, like it was a comedy, a little too, like, you twirls her and she goes up in the air and floats and then comes down and all that. And I remember seeing, I said, I got to see this movie. So if I saw it, which I think I did back in '96, I don't recall anything about it, but I saw it the other night with my girlfriend because she loves romantic movies. She loves musical and Broadway and Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly and all that. So I said, and she hates Woody Allen. So I said, well, maybe she'll get into this. We can meet me halfway. Well, she despised this movie because she also, besides hating Woody Allen and his character, and he plays the same old Woody Allen character, nerdy guy. She's a singer, and she took lessons. She sung it. She's performed at places in the past and all that. She knows singing. So Woody Allen's idea for this movie was that it's a musical, and all the characters break out into song like a musical. You have Drew Barrymore in there, who is the only one who wouldn't sing. She would refuse to sing. She said her voice is really bad. And I think that Woody tried to get her because that was the idea, but somebody dubbed her. But you have Julia Roberts singing, who's not good. She's not good. I could even tell that, Alan Alda singing was pretty good. I thought Edward Norton, who's in it too, very young Edward Norton, yeah. I thought he was decent, but who knows all about pitch and all about what's a good trained vocalist, and what, because he can't sing. She was worried about him, didn't like him. And Goldie Hawn, surprisingly, was all right singing. And she agreed, my girlfriend, which is, wow, that's some praise, because she likes it. So what's the point of it?
The thing about like people like Alan Alda and Goldie Hawn, they came through the system to where, singing, dancing, acting. They get all of those lessons, going through that whole Hollywood system back in the day. So, whereas, after, towards the end of the 60s, that whole system broke down. So you don't see that much anymore. Coming from the newer, younger generation of actors.
Good point. That's a good point.
Goldie's made at least one album. I don't know if she made more than that, but I have
there
one.
You go. Well, that's interesting. Well, that explains that. Well, but the story itself, that's what I meant before when I was saying, to me, it's typical Woody Allen. It's, a couple people are engaged, Drew Barrymore is engaged or about to get engaged to Edward Norton, and then it's off. And then these other people, it's on, it's off. They fall in, they fall for another person. It's the same thing over and over again. It's got beautiful locales in there. You get to see beautiful, as usual, cinematography of New York, Paris. I feel like there was something else, but man, you've got the winter time. Beautiful snow is there. Forget where else they were besides that. But anyway, it's a real nice looking movie. Right, the dancing, singing, you either like it or you don't. I should mention my girlfriend was very put off because she felt it was being mocked. It was being made fun of. So he was making fun of it, and he wasn't taking it seriously, and she didn't like it. I said, I don't get that out of it. I think it's a homage, tribute to those musicals. I didn't get that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
other people have done like that. Like, I mean, Martin Scorsese's New York was an homage to those early studio day shows. I mean, same with Woody Allen. I mean, there was a film a couple years ago called La La Land that was kind of like an
I
homage,
saw that.
to the throwback of the old school studio days.
Well, the one other thing I'll say about it is there's this thing where, of course, Woody Allen thinks he can get any woman he wants, in the movies, right? As a movie star. So he's after Julia Roberts, of course, and Julia Roberts is married, but there's a little way that he tries to woo her, and that's because Woody's daughter in the film has a friend has an apartment right next to a psychiatrist's office that Julia Roberts goes to, so they drill a little hole and they can hear her bare her soul to her therapist about what she wants in a man, and then what this has been done before too, like what she likes and turns her on and all this. So she reports back to Dad Woody about this is what you got to do. So he's trying to impress her and everything. And there's some funny bits in that, but anyway, it's only so Woody Allen. It wasn't great.
Nothing creepy about that.
As if that's especially by today's standards. Now, where's the one I have to show another one and it's gone? I brought it in here special to hold it. There it is. This is another Woody Allen movie. This is the last one that I saw. That I saw in the movie theater. My girlfriend loves this one because Woody isn't in it. For one thing, and everybody seems to love this movie, and it's this one, Midnight in Paris.
That is, I think, his last great film.
And again, I feel it's okay. It's okay, not bad. I saw it again. I had seen it in 2011. Watched it again with her. The next night, she said, "Can we watch this?" I said, "Yeah, we'll do it." To make her happy, we did it. I think now Owen Wilson is in here, and basically Owen Wilson is playing the Woody Allen part. Because Woody Allen's too old, right? A lot of his mannerisms and the way he acts and says are things Woody would do if he was in the movie. And it's about a guy. He's in Paris with his I guess family and his fiance again. Of course, it's always the same feelings with a lot of his movies. And somehow there's a cab that he takes or a car that pulls up at midnight, and if he goes in there and takes it takes him into the past. Right. And he's in Paris in the past, and he meets whoever, Hemingway, I guess, and the director Buñuel, who I didn't know when I saw it the first time. Now I know of him, and other people, famous people, and everything. And that's the idea of it. Then he returns back to the present. Then every night he wants to go back to the past. I don't know. I don't love this movie, but I don't dislike it. I mean,
I think okay. I mean it's hit or miss when you have a different actor coming in playing the Woody role. Like I think Kenneth Branagh did a fantastic job playing the Woody role in the movie Celebrity, which I think that's one of the ones you hadn't seen yet, Joe. And I I love Larry David to death. I just don't think he was right for the Woody Allen role in what movie was it again?
Whatever works. Right, I haven't seen that either yet.
Right, but I did like kind of like Owen Wilson in this one.
I did.
Playing the Woody role.
I thought Owen Wilson was perfect for the if you're gonna do a younger Woody or something, you know. I thought he's the best thing about it. Rachel McAdams was good too in here. She's in here. Forgot. Oh, come on, Adrian Brody. Kathy Bates. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Pretty good.
Well, I just thought Larry David was playing himself in whatever works.
That's what I'd figure. I'm going to get through all of them eventually. I'm sure I'll get through them. Hello, Eric. I really like Midnight in Paris. It's interesting when the 1920s lady takes him on the coach to the 1870s. They go from one past era to a further past era. Now, see, when I review this movie, which I'm going to do very soon, I did have notes on this also from 2011, and I'm going to use the notes pretty much, because I feel kind of the same about it now as I did then, I forgot the name of the film where Alan gets so nervous about directing. Oh, I love that. That's
That Hollywood Ending.
yeah, Hollywood Ending. He's got to direct the movie, and he's so nervous about it that he temporarily goes blind and has to direct the movie blind, which I think is a great premise.
Oh, cool. I've got another translation if you want it.
Okay, let me go up to the translation. This one here, I'm hoping.
I love Charles Bronson because he is such a unique character. There was a scene in the American TV drama The Fugitive where he helps Richard Kimball, played by David Jansen. I was really moved by that scene.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so he did some TV work too. I didn't realize
Well,
that.
yeah, he's in my favorite episode of The Twilight Zone.
That's a big early one.
It's him and Elizabeth Montgomery, and they're
Isn't
on
that the
different
first
sides
one?
in the war, and they're like the last ones left, and it's a love story. And there's no dialogue. Neither of them says a word during the whole thing.
That's good for Charles Bronson. I got for nothing, but I haven't seen everything he's done. But I don't think of him as much of an actor. But he's better at sometimes than he is. And even the Death Wish series, at times he cracks me up. Like sometimes he's really like into it. You can believe it. Other times it cracks me up. Like I'm sorry, your wife is dead, and you have a look on his face. It's not even like registering much. I don't know. Anyway, Death Wish remake is okay. True Grit with John Wayne is better. I've never seen either one, but I got it.
I like the John Wayne one.
When I went to a theater 3 weeks ago, it was a Cinemark chain, and I was surprised by the leg rests in the seats. They call them luxury loungers. I felt like royalty indeed.
How did you stay awake, Joe, by the way, if you got a recliner?
Yeah, well, I did. But I got to say, there were a few. This is 10:30 in the morning or 11 o'clock by the time they get the commercials out of there. But still, a couple of times, I didn't miss anything. Believe me, didn't miss anything.
Were you the only one in there? Were you the only one in there?
I was the only one in there, as I predicted I would be. That's fine these days, I always say I used to love going to the movies again with Jaws. My most treasured memories are seeing Jaws with a full movie audience and stuff like that. These days, I don't care if I'm the only one in the theater, But anyway, when it was over, there was an older guy a couple of rows in front of me that got up and left. And I don't know when he came in. I never saw him. But I was going to say, during the movie, there were a couple of times I did one of these at the beginning. I was like, but not because of the movie, but I don't know. But I didn't miss anything. It wasn't like, oh geez, I was out for 10 minutes, nothing like that. Let's see. Oh wait, I haven't answered it. Was the Platter system when I worked at a movie theater in the early 80s? Don't think they have those much now. I don't think they have film anymore.
They use I always joke and say they use thumb drives, but no, they use the internet.
It used to be cool. This guy, I remember going there, watching how it was done. There, it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, you can still see what it is when you go up to like I sit in the back row. I'm a back row person when it comes to seeing
Me too.
movies.
Me too.
And when you're getting close, I mean, when you get to like to sit in the middle, I mean, you can see in the little window there, and you can see what it is, But it's nothing. It doesn't look anything like a projector, like in the past. But it's interesting.
I do defend digital projection, and that I would think it makes it much easier to do things like Fathom event screenings of older films and all. Well, like I say, whatever they're using now, I mean, I got to say, to me, it looks great. I mean, you don't have to worry about film breaking or those little cue marks, change reels.
I like the cue mark. To me, that makes it a film, What I like about Something Weird videos is they never took them out. Every movie has them.
Oh, yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. In a case like that, where I was like trying to get the full effect of like the old days and memory lane, I'd like them.
Yeah.
I must admit. Go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with what he's saying here, but go ahead.
And I must admit, I don't think it's ideal to have a screening of an older film and the print is all battered and such. Yeah, I've seen some old ones. As a matter of fact, I know a theater that's 3.5 hours away from me. But they're playing all 5 Planet of the Apes movies, but not in one day like they used to do. Every Thursday night they're playing. So I'm not going to be going to see them all. But if it was a situation where they were having Go Ape for a day, all 5 Planet of the Apes films, I might go and make an outing of it. It's worth it to me,
Yeah.
to do that.
I mean, also depends too. I mean, hopefully they're the restored versions and they're just not so a crappy, print of a print of a print.
But I've gone to some in the past, and that's what made me think of it. The Planet of the Apes films, where one theater in Manhattan did do that in the I'm going to say around 1999 or something, 2000. They had all 5 movies in one afternoon. So I went with a friend of mine, and it was on film, and one of them was like kind of pink because the color changed, and it was choppy, missing dialogue, was bouncing around. I'm like, nah. One of the movies was like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we did that. Yeah. The episode with Bronson and Montgomery, filmed at the old Hal Roach backlot. Laurel and Hardy Street scenes were shot. Interesting.
Yeah, I love that episode. It's sweet. Might be the only Twilight Zone that's sweet.
I actually have a Vic Morrow movie that I like, King Creole with Elvis. But I mean, I don't really know a lot of Vic Morrow movies. I don't think right now.
Oh, he's in the monkey's head. So that's all I need.
Oh,
yeah, there you go. That's right. The best thing the monkeys ever did.
Yep.
Yeah. I like to sit about 2/3 of the way back when watching a movie. Well, it depends on the theater too,
Yeah.
And I hate that about you. When I go in there and I look at the screen, he's okay. Pick a seat. And you look at the terminal, and sometimes my girlfriend does it on the phone. Right before we go, she'll do it on the phone. What seat do you want? I'm like, how am I going to tell? Mm-hmm. I think to really get the full impact, you got to walk in there and look and see the layout and get the vibe of where it is. It says you can't just say screen, row 1, row 2. You have to feel it. But anyway, when seeing a complete unknown, you sat like that. And sometimes, Tom, I think, I don't know if you agree, the back row, which I kind of tend to like too. For some reason, I don't like anybody behind me,
I hate as I tear up a copy of Press to Play. Yeah, when someone's behind me at a theater. Even at a concert, I hate it too. But I mean, obviously the closer you are in a concert, the better. But in the theater, I have to be in the back row.
Oh wow! I'm the opposite. We went when I was in London the first time. We went to see. They were showing a revival of His Girl Friday in the theater, and obviously we'd never been there or anything. And we go in there, and it's this little tiny theater. There's probably only 100 to 150 seats. It's pretty small. And it was pretty full too, so we wound up having to sit in the second row. But the theater, there was an aisle in the front because it was really small. A lot of people went in the front and then up. You didn't go in through the back in this theater. You came in through the front, and then there was like this 3-foot ledge that went back, I don't know, 15, 20 feet. And then there was the screen. And I'm like, so even the second row was fine. It wasn't too close or anything. It was, you could see everything. You could see everything really well because you're really close. You didn't spend, and it was, 4x3 too, which doesn't hurt, but I wasn't doing this the whole time,
Right.
When I was a kid, there was a few times we got stuck walking in and going to the front row, and you couldn't see anything. You're right there, or looking up the whole time.
Well, again, it depends on the theater design, though. This theater was designed so the front row's okay.
Oh, it's got But this one, like I said, the one I went to for the ritual, there were only 4 rows, but each row had was up a step, and it had a pathway between each one. So it went back a ways, but still, even the last row was kind of close. But it wasn't thank God, it wasn't that close that I was bothered by closer than I like. But I was going to say before, sometimes you go in the last row. If the theater is big enough, the screen is really far.
Yeah,
You know.
that's
I'm
not,
fine with.
old theaters. It's like it'd be like watching a 21-inch television from your couch. In some of the older theaters I've been in, it's like, why go to the movies if the screen is this big,
Well, I remember when I went to see Goldeneye, we went to a movie, the James Bond movie with Pierce Brosnan. We went to a movie theater in '95 that used to be, I think, a single movie theater, and they tried to make it into two. That's the smallest theater I ever went in. It was a tiny theater, I think like 2 rows, and it was like looked like a 55. That wasn't a 55-inch screen, but it was small. I'm like, you kidding me? I don't know what they were thinking with that. I was just going to. Good thing I remembered this. First of all, when I went to that theater to see The Ritual, which turned out to be very clean, I liked the theater itself so much. That's the one I went in was small. That's why they probably put the movies like The Ritual in that theater. But I would go there as my regular. If it was close, I'd go there as my regular go-to theater. That's how much I liked it overall, how clean it was and everything. But because it's 40 minutes away, that's not happening. But the story is.
Do you remember the name? Sorry, Joe, to interrupt. Do you remember the name of the theater?
I have to look
it up. If you don't want to give that information, that's fine. I was just curious if it was a chain or not, because if like
it was an AMC theater.
Okay, well there you go. I mean, if I'm sure those reviews from the past were probably something else, and then AMC probably came in and then cleaned it up. I would wonder if that was that.
Yeah, I got it was, but this is the thing. When I went there that morning, I was wearing my 2 legs shirt with the symbol, the logo on it. And they're very friendly. And there was a young guy, I don't know, who looked like he was 18, 19. Who knows? Everybody looks 20. And he said, "Oh, I'm Paul McCartney." Oh man, he goes. So the 2 legs thing. He goes, "Paul McCartney." He goes, "He's great." He goes, he was the main Beatle. He says,
You're lying.
I'm not lying. How did I forget this? I just remembered it. I swear it's true. And I said to him, I don't know. I felt that I had to like rain on his breast. I said, "Oh, John Lennon." I said like that. And he goes, "Oh yeah, he was good too. His solo music was good." And I'm like, whatever. Another kid doesn't even know there was a John Lennon. But anyway, they were nice. So let's go back. Sometimes halfway back in the theater looks really good. Well, it depends on the theater. There's a chance I might be able to see Taxi Driver in this independent theater. Well, I could go anyway by myself, but I'd like to go with my girlfriend to see that. Oh, no, another translation coming up, but let me. I don't mind, but I feel sorry for Tim. Exactly, and that's why I hate having to pick out your seat instead of just going in, looking around, and deciding on your seat. And you want to decide who you're going to sit next to. You don't like this person. Don't looks stinky, or there's a kid there or something.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm kind of grateful in a way that I don't have to get there a half hour before the movie starts to pick the seat. I'm kind of, happy that we do pick seats, because it kind of eliminated, you have more time now. I mean, you don't have to be there a half hour early, even though now, I mean, they're showing a half hour trailers now before the show. But, then on top of that, you'd have to be there a half hour early just to get the seat that you wanted. I remember those days before you could pick your seats, being there, getting there a half hour, prior, or whenever they'd open the doors for the movie. I tried to be the first in line to get in there so I can get the seat I want.
Yeah.
I've never been fussy. I just sit wherever there's a seat and I'm happy.
And of course, in this particular theater, I wound up sitting not where I chose anyway. I chose a seat which was a little closer to the end, and because nobody was in it, I was able to go to more to the end. Anyway, did you get that translation?
Yeah, let me just pull it up here. The movie Papillon, starring Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman, was great. Yep. The farewell scene on the cliff and the last scene brought tears to my eyes.
I haven't seen it in many years, but I liked it.
That was my ex-father-in-law's favorite film.
Paul
might be
McCartney
my-
connection.
What's the connection?
Paul McCartney connection. Dustin Hoffman. That's. I think Paul was.
I know the story to write the song is that.
Yeah. It's Picasso, right? Here's
that lousy
sing
song
to me or whatever. I'm not a fan. I can't stand the song. To be honest with you.
But I knew the story about it, but I didn't know that was the period. That was when it. I guess 73.
I think it's a good song. I don't know why Denny sings half of it, but
I don't know if I should I entertain Crude, is it? I always say KRWD. I don't know what he means by that, so I'm hesitant to quote it above why he doesn't patronize them.
I don't know who owns them. I don't care. I don't
The movie
think
theater
that's
in Sunset years, many of those,
They're killing themselves, really, is what they're doing. And AMC Theaters has just agreed to add more commercials before playing their movies, which is unfortunate because it's 25 minutes to 30 minutes of
that's too much
commercials before.
You're spending $20 to go watch commercials. That's not right.
I'm not, because I don't mind as much because I feel like I'm winning since I'm part of their A-listers, right? $20, a month.
I get that, but the average person that doesn't takes his girlfriend and goes and spends $60 between popcorn and drinks and seats, and then
I agree
for a load of commercials. It's not quite right.
And that's why you get people coming in like 10 minutes, before the movie actually starts, because they know that they can get away with it. Yeah. It's annoying because then you got people with their phones on, with the flashlights, trying to find their seats. They need to get rid of that.
Exactly. So there you go. Yeah. It's not better thing, but anyway, there's pros and cons, I guess, to the way it is now. But this thing about movie theater in its sunset years have closed. The question is, do you think it's? I don't know if it's ever going to die. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. Some had to close because of what? The pandemic, and three things in a row. You had the pandemic, you had the actor strike, and then you had the writer's strike. Okay, that's you're pretty much looking at 4 years of theaters that had to survive. Yeah, well, there was some, and there's some good movies too, but 4 years that theaters had to survive. If you were a mom and pop, you weren't going to survive 4 years, for the most part.
Yeah.
What I like about going to the movie theater, experience surround sound, and watching the movie. Well, it depends on the movie.
Yeah, right? So I'm watching the second time I saw the Mission Impossible film. I'm in the Dolby Cinema theater at AMC, and your chair vibrates, and you got the surround speakers and all that stuff. It's an experience, So there's still some great reasons to go see movies in theaters.
Well, the thing is too, though, here I go with my old-fashioned ways. Yeah. To me, it's not about like I'm going to, I don't know what to call it, a rock concert or a circus or a big show with sound and dazzling. It's a movie. It's a story with characters. I guess, even something like Jaws would benefit from IMAX or something like that, I guess. But, it used to be like, they'd have Earthquake, the movie Earthquake and Sense Around. You go in it would shake at theaters early.
Right.
IMAX type thing, I guess. It depends on the movie, really. Like when I went to go see the John Lennon movie, that was great in IMAX with the 1-to-1. The songs were blasting and everything.
Right.
If this is the real Henry, hello, Henry, but you don't know. So plus they tend to have little arcades, which for someone like me, of course, is fun.
Well, yeah. You're looking. They got to make money too. Remember, they make all their money with concessions, right? The popcorn, the drink. That's how they make their money, really. And then little things like that, because they know there's a good chance families are going to come in as well, little kids, and they, give them something to do before the movie.
Yeah.
Or after.
It was an interesting film. Anybody see it?
No.
Has a flashback within a flash. Well, I could tell you another movie that has a flashback within a flashback within a flashback. A Universal horror film called Jungle Woman.
Yeah.
I almost bought Casablanca. Like, see, the thing is, I have a video prepared to put up of another one of going to the store and picking out some used Blu-rays and things. And I'm like, oh, I'll pick this up. I'll pick this one up, and I'll do like a whole bunch of them. Then I wound up really not have enough cash on me. So I'm like, uh-oh. So I can only get some. I put the rest back. So I don't know if I should still put the video up anyway or not. And Casablanca was one of them. I don't own it. I don't think I ever really sat down from start to finish to watch it straight through. I mean, I've seen, so God knows I've seen a lot of it over the years here and there. But I got to give the Maltese Falcon another watch, because I watched that once and I was like, what the hell's going on with this? I didn't really.
That and the Treasure of Sierra Madre, I think, are my two favorites. But if you don't think you're going to watch it, don't get it. Don't waste your time.
I only would buy it if I hope, in the sense that I'm going to watch. It's not the sense so much with records. Records were a little different, you know. But with movies,
but then again,
ones I want to see.
If it's only $3 or $5, then
that's the thing. I look at it as like the old days of rental a Blockbuster or something, $3, $4, $5, whatever.
First time I saw Casablanca, I didn't like it, and now it's become one of my favorite movies. I just think it's great. I get it. I like it.
Well, see, that's the thing too. That's the kind of, we talk about giving it things another shot. That's the kind of thing that I'd give another shot to. You know what I mean? Let's see. Over a decade ago, I went to an aquarium. They had a 4D theater that squirted water on you and such. Yeah.
Hopefully it was water.
Earthquake, incense around. Everything but the floor seemed to be shaking. I later had a nightmare about being in a movie theater during an earthquake. You should sue them. Yeah, how expensive do book off prices tend to be? It's very much on a per item basis. Yeah, it's a per item basis, and they're so full of crap. I think I told the story. I went in there with a bunch of DVDs, and they're giving me crap for it. So I said, no, thanks. I'll take them home. And then I went.
They have to. I'll defend them. They have to. Because when you've got that many movies, how long is it going to take them to sell? You're putting stuff that might be sitting there 3 years.
That's their problem. Look, that's their problem. I did the right thing. Look, you can argue this
problem. You don't have to sell it to them, but they can't give you more for it. And I understand.
Yeah, they can. Did you ever go shopping at Book Off, Tim?
No, but I worked at a used record store, and it's the same thing. I understand.
I don't go for that bullshit. I don't go for that bullshit. You know how long it's going to sit here? They're trying to give you nothing. I don't go for that. I'm not giving it away because it might sit here. Or then again, it might sell quicker than you thought.
Well, it's not for people trying to get a lot of money. It's for people that just don't want their stuff anymore. And
fools. Fools that are going to throw it out.
It's either get the money now, or you can do the same thing and put your movie on eBay, and then you can wait 3 years before it sells.
I mean, it's.
Well, I'm going to finish my point of it anyway. The thing is, they're full of shit. Okay, and I asked the girl after. I said, "Well, because I've seen movies there $45. Okay, I've seen movies there $20. What are you going to give me a dime?
Out of print.
You give me a freaking dime. For something like that. Now, if you're only going to get $5, if you're selling something for $5, I'd like at least $1. Give me $1, you can make $4. They won't do that. They want to give you a quarter.
And you don't know what their back stock is either. They might have 30 of them in back stock. Well,
they say, it's very simple, Tim. It's not my problem. It's their problem. So they have to, like you say, they got to kind of allow for that.
Yeah.
And my only recourse is to say, well, I'm not going to sell them. Thanks. Have a great day.
I went was at a place when I went to go visit Ethan in Canada. You know, we went to a couple places, and excuse me, one of the places had a DVD, had a Blu-ray that I've been looking for a while, but it's been out of print, and it's called, you know, Across 110th Street.
Oh, I know. I saw that.
Yeah, you know, and I've been wanting to see that film forever, but they had it for $100, so they kind of knew what they had, you know, because a lot of times these boutique labels, they only, you know, get to license to sell like 2,000 to 3,000 copies of these films. So, you know, it's their job to know what they're getting, and it's also their job to get it for as least money as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that they got to do what they, but sometimes they do, like Tim says, right? Like they got to do what they got to do to survive. Then other times they are trying to just get over on you in some cases. I mean, if they know they're going to sell something for, say, $25, what they do is you go there. I had to give them my license. I had to give them my name, rank, and serial number. I didn't want to do all that. And then shop around for an hour. Or sometimes they'll call you back in a day or two, because depending on how many people they got to look through their stuff. They called me back in an hour. It was $20, and it was ridiculous. I got $40 at another place, you know, and but I said to them, like, well, how do you figure this? Well, a lot of DVDs, for example, the girl says we sell for like $1. I didn't see any dollar DVDs. Well, I mean, there was a section that was like, I think, $2 or $3. All right, but most of what I saw was individual, like $5. $20, $12, $10. It depends what the title is, because they look them up. That's what I'm like saying. That's why they take time, because they're looking them up. You know, to see what to charge. Now, I know they got to survive. They can't give you a lot of money for everything. And like Tim, like what you said, you know, usually there's people that they're just like, well, I want to get rid of. I don't care. People do it at the record store. You're like, yeah. Well, he says, I'll just donate these. You know, or just. They don't care. They just want to get them rid of them. And if you can give me 10, if I got like 50 DVDs, instead of throwing them out, you give me $10, I'll take it. You know?
Yeah, and plus, I mean, vinyl right now, I mean, it's apples and oranges to compare that to vinyl, because vinyl has been having its resurgence for the last, 10 years or so. Yeah. So I can understand people getting more for vinyl these days. I mean, if DVDs,
I'm talking back in the day. I'm talking mid 80s. I worked in a record store, and there were 1 million record stores, and you just couldn't afford. The most we would give for a standard record at a record store back then was $1.25. That was the absolute limit, unless it was some really rare thing or something. That was because records are going for $4 max, and you know, you gotta make some money, you know.
Yes, I did, Henry. When this is over with, you can go back and watch what I said about it.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got the translation if you want it.
Oh, geez, I gotta go. Where is it? This one here. We didn't do yet. That's another thing. I can't tell if we did them or not. They look the same to me.
Well, the latest one says Borsellino, starring Alan Delon and Jean-Paul Belmondo. Is a very stylish gangster movie and one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love Alan Delon. Great, one of the greatest French actors of all time, or one of the greatest actors of all time. Period. Yeah, fantastic actor.
I didn't know.
Samurai is fantastic.
Yeah, Samurai. Yeah, absolutely.
I just realized this is the Maltese Falcon, but from 1931 with Dwight Fry in there. Okay. Yeah, even though Casablanca has been referred to so much that it almost seems like a cliche, it really is a great film full of great characters and photography. Yeah,
it is, but it's not for everybody. You know.
No, but it's a really good film.
It may be sacrilege, but I didn't love Citizen Kane when I saw it. The good, but it did blow my socks off. Personally, it's well made, but not the most exciting premise to me. Well, the thing is, the first time I saw it, after knowing all about it, I did see how it got its reputation, because I did think it was good. But then I saw it with my nephew a second time, and wasn't knocked out as much as the first time. And the greatest movie ever made, is what they call it a lot of times, and I think that's really a disadvantage to it. To put that in people's heads. Yeah,
but I think it might be, but it would never be my favorite film.
Right. Good point.
In fact,
same here.
I probably like Casablanca more than Citizen Kane these days, but it
I
doesn't
love
mean I
Citizen
think
Kane
it's a
too.
better made film. But
I actually think his movie Touch of Evil is better than Citizen Kane.
Touch of Evil is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Touch of Evil. Sucks in my opinion. There's barely any Blu-ray or DVD shelves in stores anymore. It's all been reduced to bargain bins for cheap.
Well, if they
Into
even have
Target we
those,
go. Say
they're
again?
gone in a lot of places now, including
Yeah.
a lot of Walmarts don't have them anymore.
Again, when Amazon
My
stops, then
Walmart's
that's when we
DVD
need to worry.
section, my Walmart DVD section is down to about a quarter of an aisle. DVD, Blu-ray, 4K.
Days are gone, man. They're gone.
Aisle. That's it.
Again, when Amazon stops selling them, that's when we need to worry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, the days are gone in the stores. That's what people think.
Yeah.
People think just because the stuff's not offered in the stores so much anymore, nobody wants them. That's not true.
Yeah.
You know, they're forcing them out of stores and making you order them online. You know,
and they're giving opportunities to local businesses like this store that Joe's goes to. That suddenly these stores can spring up and do fairly well these days because you can't go to Target or Walmart or Sears or Penny's or wherever you used to go to get your videos. You got to go there.
We had 6 of them in Arizona and 2 in Las Vegas. They were a chain of stores, and that's where I was usually went for a record store day too. But they did the same thing. You know, they took returns for Blu-rays, DVDs, even VHS and Laserdiscs. You know, they took. You know, they're a record store, but they also do the same thing with, like Joe was his experience with his store.
Yeah. But, you know, I noticed in there, too, there's people and young people, too, that love browsing for the movies, just like I see young people browsing for vinyl. Yeah. So there's always going to be that urge, that natural desire to browse, take things, you know, in your hand, look at it, decide if you want to purchase it. People want that. People think that's never going to be anymore. And I remember they've been telling me that for 20 years. They've been saying, there could be no more books. They're all going to be Kindle. There's not going to be any more.
Books are coming back. Nobody's talking about that. Books are coming back big time. I mean, both Walmart and Target have gotten rid of their DVD and Blu-ray section
and replaced them with books.
More books. They've expanded their book sections. Both of them have.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Good night, James. Let me see where we're at here. I'm gonna get some last stuff. It's getting almost 2 hours before you know it. Now the thing is, I don't know if I've seen any unless there's a movie I saw and didn't know that's what it was by, but I don't think so.
I think he might be in the top 5 greatest directors of all time.
He's great, and not only he didn't only do samurai films. Bad Sleep Well is a fantastic.
Oh yeah, High and Low, which Spike Lee had just remade, coming out I think this year.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, good stuff.
I saw across 110th Street in a movie theater. I don't remember it at all, but I mean, I saw it in a revival theater with some friends years ago.
Yeah, Richard, I knew that, and I had that box set in my Amazon cart for a while. But I already have a few of the movies that are in that set already, so I'm hoping that they sell it, by itself.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's better to say it was a great film rather than the greatest ever made.
Yeah,
best film ever made. Yeah. See, that's a story that I don't think I would like either, but because of the style of the movie and the way it was told and everything and the look of it,
and that's it. Imagine seeing that in like 1941 or whenever it came out. Around then, there was no film ever like that before. That was the first of its kind, and it blew people hated it too, but the ones that liked it loved it.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble has movies where I go to.
Well, mine doesn't. Mine doesn't carry them, so no.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
There's two of them I have. One of them doesn't have any. The other one does.
Yep.
Yeah, garage sales. But the funny thing is, like I know there's another record store I go to. They get every other day. They get like 400 Blu-rays came in, 200 some days, 100 some days, and they're the same movies.
The same movies, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Most of the people that are dumping their movies aren't collectors. They're people that just had movies and don't want them anymore. So what did they do? They all went to Walmart and Target and bought the latest releases. So that's all the same.
That's what they are. Yeah, they're all that kind of stuff.
That's like mine. Salvation Army has had the same movies for months now, and it's all common stuff.
But it's not. You're not going to find anything in there. Very seldom you're going to find anything before 2000 in those collections. They're always like, I don't know. I can't think of it. Hangover, Fast and Furious. It's the same freaking movies all the time with just different people.
Right. And those are the ones that are a dime a dozen. Those are the ones that they're going to give you a dime for. At the used places.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. Here's the funny thing with that. Okay, the Hills Have Eyes. The Hills Have Eyes, the original one from the 70s, was a horror movie that I heard a lot about and didn't get to until later in my life. And then when I wound up getting to it, I thought, "What the hell? I didn't even get anything out of it." The same thing happened when I moved the movie The Last House on the Left. Last House on the Left in 1972 was really a shocker movie. It's not as shocking today. And in the case here of the remake, I saw the remake of The Hills Have Eyes. I liked it better. And I liked the remake of the other one better too, that I just said. Last House on the Left. I like the remake of that better too, which is that's unheard of for me usually. But what happens, once in a while, I like I liked War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. I liked Mighty Joe Young with Charlize Theron in it. Or Theron. I think she once said it's Theron, not Theron. Charlize Theron. But, there's sometimes there are exceptions, where I like new movies better than the originals. I mean, when I say originals, I mean, say 21st century versions better than old ones, which is hard to happen very much. Fun to look through books and DVDs and vinyl LPs. Should I mention vinyl LPs? Somebody almost got me sold on vinyl again today when I'm trying to get rid of them all. Maybe the channel, The Joy of Vinyl. It's called. There was a guy that was talking about vinyl and what's special about it, and the fact that we'll always be able to play your vinyl, but not necessarily your discs, your Blu-rays and DVD, whatever it is, CDs. And I started thinking to myself, "Oh, come on, man! You'll always be able to play a phonograph record." Oh my God! Don't get me started here. Going back to records, please. That's what I'm thinking. Salvation Army. I got to start winding this down now.
Yeah, it's almost ice cream time.
Don't eat that garbage. You really got ice cream?
Yeah, I can't wait to see the movie, Henry. I'll be there.
Let's see. City Lights. Final Cities. It's funny because I have City Lights. I saw it a long, long time ago. It's an old DVD, and I don't remember that much about it. But something about the ending is in my head.
Oh, it's a great movie. It's one of the best movies ever made. I think I put it in the top. It's probably the best silent movie ever made. Or just about. I liked it. Definitely. And it was made after the silent period. It's like 1932. It's it's post the silent period, but he made it silent anyway.
Yeah, that store has a huge selection. Well, that store, that book off, they have books, vinyl, CDs, they have other things. That's the only place they have the movies in that one aisle that I show. But there's a lot there. And what you really have to do is you got to have a lot of time and you got to go alphabetically. You got to go A to Z. because
But
sometimes
that's
it can be
better. At
kind
least
of-
it's A to Z. I hate these companies that put it by genre, and not every film is in a specific genre. So you gotta look in 12 places, try to find the film you're looking for. I don't like
well,
FYE is like that. It's like
it's a mixed bag because while it's alphabetical, it's weird. You'll be going alphabetically, and then it will say horror, it will say Western. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, it's not exactly at all genres together necessarily, but I don't know because if you've seen my video, they have like Kino Lorber all in it in one section, and I'm like, what's with that? I guess it's its own genre, Kino Lorber.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you very much. You get it now.
It's the latest genre.
Now you understand.
Criterion,
but not Criteria.
you
understand now.
Well, we got to wind this down. Let's go here.
We got to wind this down.
Wind it up.
I've got the latest translation when you want it.
Oh my God. What's the best horror film of all time? There's a lot of ways I would answer that. There's not just one because there's different errors there for these movies. A lot of times I'll say, I wonder if I could answer that. For like Night of the Living Dead is one of them. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is another one. Exorcist is another one. Rosemary's Baby is one of them. I think Rosemary's Baby is a perfect film. It's hard to find a perfect film.
I'd put Poltergeist on my list for scary.
Oh, yeah?
That's one of the best horror films of all time.
I put Bride of Frankenstein.
Bride of Frankenstein is one as well. You know, it depends what area you're looking at or period type.
And I'm sorry, she is scary.
Bride of Frankenstein?
Yes.
Yes, it is kind of scary in a way. I'm scared of things like that. I like John Carpenter's The Thing much better than the 1951 version, and that's something which you'll never hear me say, except when I say I like the 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers better than the 50s version. That's only two times you might hear me say that. Yeah. Exorcist is number one. Yeah, it's all exaggerated. That's such bull. I don't think I ever had a CD since my first one in '86 go bad on me.
Yeah, no. I've had burned CDs fade away. A few, not very many, but press CDs I've never had a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so, but not everything. Believe me, not everything I'm getting rid of. But
he's gonna sell Rushes to me.
No. I'm keeping Beatles and solo Beatles, but the cases where I got 10 copies of something and I only need one or two or whatever it is,
Okay, translation time. Hang on. I got it right here. The movie Black Rain is one of my favorites. Michael Douglas, Andy Garcia, Yasaku Matsuda, Ken Takakura. The fight scene between Michael Douglas and Yasaka Matsuda in the last scene is very powerful. It was Yasuku Matsuda's last work.
Yeah. That was a Ridley Scott directed film, right? I believe.
There you go.
Yes, indeed. Tim is a man of many talents. Yes, indeed. All right. I got to get to the end here, man. This is good. We got a lot of people today. This was
a good Monday night.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah, well, don't forget that I'm interested in hearing what Luca has to say about Press to Play.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the original Frankenstein, your Bride of Frankenstein, all that kind of stuff.
There's the book right there.
All right, not here. Get out of here before I tear you up.
I'll be giving away this copy of Press to Play by Luca Perazzi Wednesday at the Two Legs channel.
Laser Rod.
And that wasn't as pervasive as people think it is either. That was only on one brand, and it was the early Laserdisc, and then they figured it out and fixed it. And Laserdot isn't the thing that people think it is either. It's just not.
Well, it's hard to say. John Carpenter, because I like Michael Myers way better than Freddy Krueger. It's hard to say because, first of all, I like Halloween, but I also like the first Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. So they're both very good. But Wes Craven did a TV movie called Stranger in Our House, which is with Linda Blair, which is known now as the movie Summer of Fear by Wes Craven, a 1978 TV movie, which is pretty good. Linda Blair's cousin comes over to stay for a while, and she's a witch.
I kind of feel bad a little bit for Linda Blair. I think she had some really potential to be a good actress.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened with her. The breaks. Well, drugs.
Drugs. She was drugs and everything.
Rick James, she got involved with Rick James and underage. She was underage when she started seeing Rick James.
Now.
Decisions.
Well, we're not going to talk about too much about Press to Play here and everything, but what do you think? Yeah. How's the book on Press to Play?
I just got it. But yeah, it's the music, the making of interviews. He was able to interview the producer Hugh Padgham. I think he used one of our interview when we interviewed Jerry Marotta a few years back, the drummer.
Now this album, I just can't take it.
Just can't take it. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
That's classic, I guess.
It is. Classic Mayo. Classic Mayo.
Yeah, the mother's from, like, you're talking about Ellen Burstyn. Yeah, she made a cameo appearance, a little more than a cameo, but almost in the latest one, Exorcist Believer, and it was a disgrace what they did with her in that movie and why should she even come back? It was terrible movie, terrible cameo. After this, we have to go because I got to get going. Here's another one.
I gotta translate for a second.
Give it that bad away. You don't do that on here.
Detroit Tigers, baby, first best record in baseball.
Put it away. I doubt it.
No, we don't. No, there's no doubt. It's a fact.
That's
the best record in baseball.
This will be our last comment of the evening.
Okay, wait.
Comments.
I'm looking at. By the way, I just want to say that I'm just translating Chinese. Mandarin and Cantonese are spoken language. I thought
it was Japanese.
Chinese people, maybe it is, but Chinese people could read the same newspaper. They just can't talk about it. The languages are spoken different, but they're written the same.
Why are you telling me this? I'm not interested in your life story.
I'm telling you this because people should know this because Chinese people probably would like them to know.
Okay, you know what the translation is, or no?
Yes, horror movies like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Friday the 13th, Panic Room, The Exorcist, Halloween, and Evil Dead are interesting. That's what the comments.
They are, some of them. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Thank you. This was really good. I like this. This was a very good show, and can't wait to do the next one. So thank you.
Next week, Joe, have you ever eased down the road?
I don't think I ever saw the Wiz.
No? Well, I'll be showing that next week.
You'll be showing it?
Yeah, Criterion is releasing it tomorrow.
I guess it's going to be a little on the darker side.
I didn't know that the Wiz was in the genre of Criterion film.
It is. No. It is starting tomorrow. Starting tomorrow.
Aye. Well, anyway, folks, thank you all for being here. It's been a lot of fun. And talk soon. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm sure you have. And these guys, too. Do a little promotion before we go.
All right. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, I do have a new podcast up. It took me like 5 hours to mix it, so I'd appreciate anybody that listens over at snapcracklepop.podomatic.com. It was a nightmare to do. And I'm celebrating the Mellotron. So there's a lot of psych on there, and every song I play has a Mellotron on it. And it's a long one. There you go. Snapcracklepop.podomatic.com.
Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast YouTube channel. Please check it out. This Wednesday, I'll be live. I'll be giving away a copy of Press to Play, the recent Luca Perazzi book. Okay, and I'm also going to have Uncle Paul as a guest. We'll be talking about his channel and just Paul McCartney and whatever, join
Not
me
McCartney,
Wednesday.
Uncle Paul.
No, not Uncle Paul, but we'll be talking about Paul McCartney. Absolutely. So, yeah, please subscribe to Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast if you haven't already.
All righty. That's good. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon. Keep on watching those movies.
There you go. I love it.